ba commissioners, ba directors, ba RDCs n'abalala abayambako mu byenjigizo okuleka nti bitereera abaana abaabwe tebasomera mu masomero gano. Tulowooza nti libeere etteeka buli mukozi wa gavumenti n'okusingira ddala abali mu kkoero y'ebyenjigiriza abaana baabwe bagende mu masomero gutira public schools, masomero ga gavumenti. Nti bwe banaabeera mu masomero ga gavumenti bafa nnyo okulaba nti abaana baabwe gye basomera ebyenjigiriza bibeera birungi. So bwe kirabanga ekyo kikoleddwa tewali kuwannaanya, lifuuka etteeka nti buli mukozi wa gavumenti omwana we ali mu ssomero lino. Kati bo bennyini bajja kutandika kulwana bokka nga gwe munnayuganda ali eyandaba atavunaanyizibwa kukola amateeka twetagana kubeerayo, kubanga ayagala omwana we waali afune ebyenjigiriza ebirungi. Omwana kyaya kubanga tekira kye kikola omwana tusobole okumuwa ekyo ekisaanidde, talina kuteekayo ssente mu byakulya n'okulabirira aba ebyenjigiriza bikyalina ebirumira bingi, naye ndabanga ensonga abazikutte mu nkola etali y'abayivu, enkola etali y'abantu abategeera kye bakola, wabula enkola ey'ekiyekera ey'ekivandulo era ey'okugwira obugwizi ebyenjigiriza. Leyanza.
Webale nnyo national spokesperson. Tusooke tubuuze eby'Oluganda oba tusooke tumaleyo Oluzungu. Secretary General Katuwa Oluzungu. No. NSP atuzeemu. Okay, kale katwale mu Luzungu tusooke tugende mu bibuuzo eby'Oluzungu eby'Oluganda omulundi gumu, then tujjagenda maaso okuva awo.
Thank you. Getting to P4. Now, at P7 level, we realize only 600,000 children sit for P7, go for P7. 300,000 get to S4, that is UCE. And 100,000 children get to USCE. Now, so we are saying in this new arrangement that the government wants to take, as need, it would be a good move. But there are things we have to do before we go into the new arrangement. Can we address the challenges that we have been facing? Apparently, we have a new curriculum in secondary school. That is the new curriculum, which is assessed continuously, and it's more practical. But we have no scholastic materials in schools. Government has not provided anything. But this program started last year. But there's nothing like any support in the form of textbooks and other logistics. So we see government failing its own programs, but now going into new arrangements, we think it's not going to succeed. So we therefore think that despite the fact that education is a human right and everyone should access it, it should be free or accessible. But in this context, yes, it is going to be free. But is it going to be quality education? Or it is just going to be a norm? You go to school because you have to go. So we think we should think through. We should think twice as a government before we enroll in the new arrangement. So there are so many things that government should work on. Facilitation in schools. The laboratories are not well equipped, the textbooks are not there, the teachers who are supposed to implement the new curriculum are not well trained. Actually, most of them don't know what to do. And now you wonder, a program that started last year, how it's faring, no anything in schools, and yet we are running the program. It's moving on. Not forgetting that we are in a laissez-faire economy. Education has been commercialized based on performance. You get good grades, you get good numbers, and hence good money. So we don't look into the quality of education we are receiving as a country. So we are saying government should take control of the system if we are to have a country where we have a productive generation. We are suggesting as need that the education system we have should be tailored according to the socio-economic needs of the country. Actually, it should resonate, it should be in consonance with the vision, with what we want as a country. Where are we heading? What do we want to achieve? Not a system that actually we are running a historical system where we have at the primary level, you have your SST, your mathematics, English, and etc. You don't look into the innovations, the talents, the what. That is not a point. Such things should be considered if we are to develop as a country. So in the new arrangement, government is planning to accord 1.98 trillion in the form of putting up the so-called seed schools, etc., and other activities. But we are saying, let us first review what we have. Let us first address the challenges we are facing. Then we can chart the way forward. That history can inform the future of the country in the form of education. Otherwise, we are likely to face similar issues we have been facing in the economy, in the so-called Myoga, youth livelihood, and etc. Now we have policy development model. All those cannot work because you have not reviewed what failed the past programs. So now we see UPE and USE failing, where you have the support of the teachers. Now you are saying it should be totally free, yet the budget you have is very marginal. Government is running a very minimum, very marginal budget for education. So can we see a step up in the budget? We at least identify the key sectors of the economy, of the country, among which is education. Can we facilitate it well? Can we see these teachers well trained to manage the new curriculum introduced in secondary schools? Can we have their salaries increased? So we can have now quality education. So if you have enough budget for this, these other issues can easily be worked on. And lastly, we suggest as need that the policy makers of this country, the education practitioners, the commissioners, the directors, the ministers, all the supervisors, the education officers, can we see them mandatory taking children to public schools? Because why do you have a rotten system? Because their children are international schools. They are in those so-called powerful private schools. So they don't care what happens in public schools. So can we have a policy where these people are obliged, are supposed to take their children to these public schools so everything can be sorted out? Otherwise, if we just rush into the new program, the new arrangement, one, we won't face a resistance with these founding bodies, the religious institutions, the communities, the individuals. You're going to face tough with them because we have not prepared them, first of all. Secondly, we have not been facilitating the system well. So I don't think we shall have a clear and a progressive new arrangement. Thank you.
Clearly, it couldn't have been said any better than that. Thank you very much, National Spokesperson. We can head straight into our questions. Both Uganda and English, they can come up and we'll group out from here. Questions? Anyone with questions? One year.
Process. Science teachers are supposed to finish your sentence. Role before they have science teachers as normal. Then we Baba system walimu ebyakyukamu ebyayonooneka kuba registering obupya okubaza ku sente ziri ennyingi. So imagine omusomesa okuva last year till now as a government teacher. So what do you people have to say about this?
They are reactionary. This government is reactionary.
Where do you think maybe government can, okay, which departments, maybe ministries, where government can cut maybe some of their monies and maybe they channel the equivalent to each and every that sector?
Thank you very much.
Anything. Think of the kind, the system you're running apparently. Very theoretical. We have talked about the new curriculum, which is very practical. But the logistics are not there in schools. Now, I will just look at the numbers that now I have 2 million Ugandans now studying, yet when it comes to assessing or the kind of education they are getting, really they are getting zero. Yes, they will remain there, but getting nothing. So the policy can come, but it will not favor. Impact Radio Simba. Impact Radio is need not rushing to the new arrangement. Mr. Secretary General will answer that one. Sapientia, Navagala. Are we preparing Ugandans for the worst? Not really. But it's better to know what is coming. Because we have seen this arrangement since 1997. We have been having the UPE program. And I've just read to you, maybe you around. The UPE program, when you look at the dropout rates and the kind of products that we are getting from UPE, really, it's very appalling. So, for us, we are saying, we are not against this program, this new arrangement, but we are saying, can we review the challenges we have faced? Why do we have poor quality education? Why do we have high rates of dropout? We have a redundant population, yet the same population has gone to school. Why? Why do we have high levels of unemployment? Yet we see annually, according to the report, 1 million Ugandans enroll for education annually. So now we are saying, can we first of all review what is existing? Then the past experience can tell the future. We don't want to repeat what we have been facing in the names of economic whatever, where they are trying to revamp the economy, they bring different programs, the yoga, etc., but they end up stealing the money, nothing is done. So we are tasking government to make a review before they progress with a new arrangement. Otherwise, we're not saying the arrangement is bad. Actually, we say the arrangement would be good, but let us first know what hampered, what led to the failure of the current program or arrangement we are having. Then UBC Arinitwe, where can government cut some money to increase on education? Classified budget. Arinit, are you aware that you are running a 7 trillion classified budget?
Call it State House money.
The classified budget goes to State House. State House, as a State House, is given 768 billion plus supplementaries. They get more than 1 trillion in each financial year, just on the State House. Now, Office of the President, now they are two different. Office of the President gets more than 480 billion. Office of the President, and then State House, a home of two people, gets 1 trillion of two, a father and a mother, because the children are grown-ups. Okay? Just cooking katoga around for the visitors, they need 1 trillion shilling. Can't we get a cut from there? Do you really need all that 1 trillion for a family? And yet the office is also facilitated. So we are saying, again, can we now do away with the so-called impunity? We go after these thieves who are taking close to half the budget of Uganda. They still have the budget. If you have been keen enough following Madam Betty She told us we lose 20 trillion. Now recently she said now we are at 11 trillion. Even if you fought a bit, and at least out of 11 trillion, got about 5 trillion of these thieves. And the 5 trillion get only 2 added to education. The 7 trillion get only 1 to education. And you have a budget of around 7 trillion in education. Teachers will be handsomely paid. The laboratories will be equipped well. The textbooks will be there, you know, and the motivation will be there. So there is a lot where you can cut. Now, why do we always as opposition condemn taxes, tax increments? Because they are unfair. Too many, too much. Yet you have other sources, like in the area of minerals. We have always been telling you 2020, 2021, we're about 18th in the whole world in the gold exports, earning 6.5 trillion Uganda shillings, which money is not reflected in the budget. If we got that money part of it, put in the budget, do you need to heavily tax your people to crumble their businesses? Not really. So the issue is not always being against the tax increments, whatever, but we are saying there are so many other avenues where we can tap and supplement on the budget without burdening the taxpayers. So their businesses can thrive, they can be in business, the level of employment can be there, because if these businesses are run, they can employ so many. So Mr. Initwe, that's the challenge. We are not condemning taxes, whatever. Yes, we know it's good to pay taxes, but again, value for money is important. We pay taxes. Where is our money? We pay the money. Do we get value for money? Really? Not really. Your last one, because njagala byogera mu Uganda and pay secretary general atwale mu katundu akaka. Yes, please.
When you tell us that it's like burden the taxpayers of Uganda, actually I also get what happens. All these big countries in the world, they have withdrawn because they are citizens. They are being taxed. They are being told that paying taxes, that's how they can evolve their nation. So I think as a position, this mindset should also be channeled.
Now, I've got you well. I've just told you, half of the budget is stolen through, okay. These corrupt officials take our money, okay? That's one. I've told you about the money we get from minerals, not reflected anywhere, all right? And you have a smartphone. I want you to Google only one country that developed because of taxes. Only just one. You walk away with my 100,000. One country that developed because of taxes. And my last note was, do we have value for money? If we paid taxes and in return we saw what our taxes have done, it would be okay. But you pay taxes. Out of the tax you pay, they take 7 trillion in classified. Out of the taxes you pay, they steal 11 trillion. Of a budget of 48 trillion, they steal 11 trillion. Is that value for money? So nobody is against paying taxes, but value for money. I pay tax, what do I get? So that one alone would force me. It's like now we are living in villages. They come collecting security money. But when there is insecurity, people cannot pay. But when there is security, people are forced to pay because they know there is what? Value for money. You understand? So that is the idea. So it's not about not paying tax or whatever. You pay tax, but in return, get the value for that tax you have paid. Is that okay now? So the issue is not saying people should not pay tax. But again, a country cannot develop because of getting more taxes from one individual.
Taxes should be fair.
I can tell you, in Uganda, 20%, it is only 20% who effectively pay taxes. Now, what about the 80%? You Google the statistics. Google the statistics and see. 80% do not pay. Apart from the indirect tax of the VAT and etc. They don't pay taxes. Now, you overburden the few who can ably pay. Therefore, collapsing their businesses. Thank you. Ndoza mkujabula jabula na mugabo wa Baba TV yatugambye science teachers bana sasula ekyo mukulu ajja kiddamu abe n'agamba nti budget y'ebyenjigiriza emala budget temala kubanga njagala tulowooze since kasambu akasasulirwa omwana omwaka tugambe ze nusu 10 buli lunaku mu butuufu eyo budget emala so tugamba nti okusasula tusasule niye sente zikole kye zirina okukola ki kukola mwebale nnyo. Enkola entuufu abazadde mwejjako obuvunaanyizibwa muzaala abaana ne mulowooza nti ba gavumenti bemugirekera naye nayo kati balazeeko nti bemugirekera bafuuse ebikonwa ekyokuddamu kimu abazadde tweddiza obuvunaanyizibwa gavumenti oba ekuyambyeko naawe kwasizaawo naye bw'onaayagala obiteeka mu mikono gya gavumenti ebiri mikono gya gavumenti byonna tandikira ku bitongole byayo byonna bivunze lwaki oyagala ogitikka omugugu gwetasobola kwetikka nsife tulowooza nti okugenda mu nteekateeka empya basooke kutunuulira enteekateeka eno eriwo bwekoze ebizibu ebiriwo bikoleddwako bitya tugende mu nteekateeka empya ng'emabega kintu kiteredde naye bwe tunagenda mu nteekateeka empya n'ebizibu bino bye twetisse bigenda kufaanako bwe tuba tulaba mu myoga mu bonna bagaggawale ssente z'abavubuka katuli mu police development model era abantu batandise dda okubba webale nnyo.
Tweyaza katuwulire ebibuuzo ebimu ebiva okudibwamu okuva Secretary General.
Thank you. First of all, today I wanted the spokesperson to show you that you always give him, tell him, you speak Luganda, as if the man cannot speak both. and that we, yes, but he's also now in policy as a politician. So mine is just going to be one question, then I make a statement, or rather two answers. I know you come from Busia as your home area. Now, when the government came up and said they are increasing only science teachers and then leaving arts teachers, first of all, that in its own was deceptive, was fake, and was an idea for which we opposed. We stood against it because it created, first of all, inequalities. It divided the teachers, but also lowered. By the way, in itself, it lowered the vigor and morale of arts teachers. We also know that it is an approach for which Museveni, is using to kill all art subjects. That's why he removed what we used to call political science or civics. When you go to Makerere, political science is being phased out because he does not want to empower those who are interested in power or those who think about power. So that is the background against which Mr. Museveni went to do the so-called science. But you see, the system was not developed. That's why in districts like Busia, most teachers, science teachers, by the way, and I'm talking about Busia because it's where the thing was so much. I know in other parts of the country, most science teachers were actually removed. If you're a science teacher, I know about 5 of them deliberately removed. They woke up, they have been on the payroll. They woke up in the morning, they are no longer on the payroll because they can't afford you, a Samia from Majanji, to get 4 million shillings. And their names, he is a witness. They are names of people who were put there. They are neither teachers or not even in Busia. But they are now the ones getting the 4 million. Imagine, they are the ones getting 4 million and in the payroll of teachers in Busia. That is happening. So that is, that in its own speaks to intention. That the intention was really not even to empower those teachers. And I know that this has happened elsewhere. Number 2, that how would you be in a policy? I look at policy makers in this government and I shut. How would you begin a policy of that kind without developing a system? This was they are implementing a policy without a proper system that will turn the wheel. So that one, first of all, it was intentional, but sometimes it is, and this is what is happening. So that, because I was speaking to one of them, he comes from Masaf, particularly, who spoke to me. You didn't even know who spoke to me. And I was telling them, if they can, let him find his colleagues, and we see what kind of conversation. If we expose, these guys will this thing. Because my brother there, I said, why can't need first allow government to implement this policy? Then we see how it works. My friend, policies are not implemented like that.
They're not experimented.
When you see an economy, if you're developing an economy, and I hear Museveni speaking about a knowledge-based economy all the time, education is key, and therefore you don't experiment. Now, when you want to experiment, do you know there is an educational review commission headed by Mushega, Amanya Mushega? Do we know the outcome of Mushega committee? Now, if you want to roll out a 2 trillion policy on another policy for which you don't know how it has performed, where is it done like that? So we are saying the sensible thing would be review UPE performance for the time it has performed. Any other program you want to reinforce the policy would be on account of the outcome of your review. You will know that in this area it is performing badly because of ABC. You address the failures of the policy. You don't simply come. We know that, to be honest, they are doing that trillion, creating, it is not that they don't know, they know, but they are creating a fake loophole through which to steal the 2 trillion. It is deliberate creation. My brother from UBC, let me tell you, if you want a contest with the need on where this government can find money, just set the date and place. Let me tell you of head. A classified budget is 7 trillion, isn't it? From gold alone, where they are stealing, which does not even reflect in the income side of our budget, is 6.8 trillion. Tax waivers, you are advising government to tax ordinary vegetable sellers and bodabodas, but you see those multinational, those ones Museveni is bringing from Italy, from everywhere, from Dubai, called investors. We are losing 9 trillion to them. 9 trillion. 9 waivers. Yeah, I mean tax waivers. 9 trillion. So add 7, add 6, add in Kamia's 11. Just lost. How much are those? I've lost count. And then we have other minerals that you don't know, this rare earth thing in Busoga here.
And then
Oil, which Museveni is saying they are going to begin. In Tororo here, there is $500 million in Tororo every day out of gold. We know these things. These guys are just greedy. These guys are just sucking the blood of Ugandans dry. The money is there. Actually, let me tell you, he asked you to name just one country that has developed because of tax. Taxes, if you don't know the philosophy of tax, that one we can also have another lecture. Taxes are either to encourage a certain sector from coming up or encourage. It is not to make money for government. It is not. There's no country that says, for us, our primary resource source is taxation. It is not there. Nobody should lie to you. Anyone who will lie to you is a fake economist. He does not know anything about the country. So we want to tell you, as Ugandans, that this policy government is bringing, they are creating another avenue to steal. It is not to put right education. My brother from Simba, it is not there. Because we know. Do you know that Museveni's wife, even Museveni himself, promised girls, because girls for pads? Why didn't they create a fund for pads for the girls? Because we know that is one of the avenues where exit point for girls to leave school. We shall tell you that we told you a story here of a madman who throws a stone. He throws a stone, and if it hits the other side, he will laugh. If it hits the other side, he will laugh, and he will get confused. What is his target? That in the opinion of in the mentality of the madman, when he throws a stone, where the stone hits is his target. This is how this government is operating. They have no ultimate target. Thank you very much. I thought they already got.
Awako kulisaba.
Luoka.